You know, sometimes when you try to solve one problem, inevitably you create another. And this is what happened with me with Nikon Zf. So let me explain. So Nikon Zf is an amazing camera in many ways, and let me just kind of talk a little bit about the issue, the problem that I have with Nikon Zf specifically. So Nikon Zf is really an amazing camera in many ways. It's great for vlogging, it's great for video, it's great for photo. It has the same processor as Nikon Z8 and Z9. So in many ways it's amazing, but one of the things that Nikon Zf is really missing is the ergonomics. So if I were to rate the ergonomics of Nikon Zf, and let's take Nikon Z8 as kind of a base, and maybe we assign 10 out of 10. So on that scale, Nikon Zf would probably end up like 1 out of 10 because it has a little tiny grip here on the side, and that actually does not count this small rig L bracket that I have. Now, once you use this camera and you don't have this little L bracket by small rig, it really becomes pretty apparent that it's kind of hard to carry if you're holding it for a long time. If you're using it for more like a professional shoot, you're at a wedding event, or you're taking portraits outside, or for a while where you can't really put the camera down. So obviously one of the ways to solve the problem is to be able to get this little L bracket by small rig, and it's actually worked out amazingly, because now if I were to rate it, it's probably closer to like maybe 5 out of 10, right? So it really has made its improvement by adding this L bracket, and it works fine. It sits very tight. There's only one screw that you have to use in order to attach the small rig bracket. However, here is the problem. And by no means I would want to discourage anybody to buy this camera, because it is amazing in many ways. But maybe if you do have this camera and you have not encountered this problem because you do not have this little L bracket. So here's the problem. Now you do have access to the battery compartment. Great. Once you try to open, and once you try to extract your SD card, right, you can simply press on the SD card and it's spring loaded, and it really comes up maybe like, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, and then you try to take it out, and it's almost impossible with your fingers to grab this little SD card. Literally, I have a difficulty doing that. And if you were somewhere on a shoot where you need to swap your SD cards, it is a nightmare. And I don't really have a really big hands and fingers, but it's giving me difficulty. So there's number of times I try to take it out and I just can't, especially if it's you outdoors and maybe your hands are a little bit sweaty, and obviously it's a plastic surface, and you try to take it out and you can't really even grab it. So obviously one simple solution is to use tweezers, right? But with photographers, we don't carry tweezers all the time with us. So one of the solutions that I came up with, obviously many photographers will have some kind of multi-tool where you use to attach your tripod plates or something. So this one I happen to have has a little pliers here, and I can take out my SD card. But this is kind of ridiculous to needing to use something like this to take out your SD card. So I'm not even talking about taking out the micro SD card that's in this camera. That is complete nightmare, because it's really even difficult to use something like this to press on it. I have to use some sort of a really tiny or very thin, maybe a paper pen or maybe a knife or something, in order to be able to press on that. Like that, right? So I cannot clearly take it out. In fact, what I frequently have to do is I need to take out my battery first. Okay, at least the battery slides out. It's not a pretty big problem, but then you can take it out. Okay, so that is my problem. you know, it's a very little problem. Let me know how you guys are getting around with this, especially if you're using the L bracket by Small Rig. I'm not saying it's a fault of an L bracket, by no means, because that's the whole purpose of the L bracket, to be able to improve ergonomics, but be able to take out the SD card, it's really a challenge, all right? Like, I don't even have a battery inside right now, and I'm trying to take it out, try to grab it with my fingers. Okay, finally I got it, right? But it's not always the case, because it's really, really difficult to do that. So what I end up doing frequently is, you know, I carry this my multi-tool, and I end up using these little pliers, because I had tweezers with me a couple of times, but then either my wife took it, my daughter took it, I'm not sure. But and again, I don't carry it with me frequently. So that's the issue, guys, that I have. Let me know how you have tried to solve this problem in the past on your own. Again, the L bracket is awesome. It does improve your ergonomics really like night and day. I love the camera. I love the, you know, little lenses that you can attach. Like this one is 28, 2.8 for this camera. But ability to take out the SD card is an issue. So that's all I got. Very short video. Hopefully you guys have a better solution than I do. Yeah, so I would like to hear your feedback below in the comments. What did you guys do to solve this problem with this? Because for me, it's kind of difficult to do that. And besides just having pliers with me all the time when I need to take out the SD card, or I need to switch, you know, from one SD card to another, especially if I'm not home, I'm gonna shoot somewhere, and that is my issue. So guys, if you like this video, please give me a like, hit subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and I will see you in the next video.